This is a presentation of how I perform troubleshooting and a basic diagnosis of the flashing ? Folder on my 27-inch 2017 Fusion Drive iMac, and this process provided me with the foundation for successful self-repair. And one of my greatest lessons learned during this process is that the troubleshooting for Fusion Drive iMacs are a bit different from non-Fusion Drive iMacs. So if you're unfortunately experiencing the flashing folder, I would recommend watching this video, which might help you to troubleshoot, diagnose, service, and repair your Fusion Drive iMac. Recommended equipment: the original Apple Magic Keyboard, which was provided with the iMac, an Apple USB-A to Lightning cable, a USB mouse, and a Ventura bootable USB drive if required. This basic example shows the Fusion Drive creates a single logical volume that includes a mechanical HHD on the left, which is used primarily for storage, and an SSD on the right, which is used for the operating system, apps, and the booting startup files. As demonstrated, because the Fusion Drive acts as one unit, if either drive fails, the Fusion Drive splits and the system can't find the bootable operating system, and the result is a flashing ? Folder. This example is based on my iMac's failed Fusion Drive. As a friendly warning, I learned that flashing ? Folder troubleshooting for Fusion Drive Macs are a bit different than other Macs, and that using first aid and disk utility and resets will cause problems. So I would recommend not to do either. I did both, and my flashing folder vanished and this error message appeared when I rebooted my Mac, and my disk utility format also changed dramatically. Understand that if both of the drives are internal and physical, then there is a chance to easily repair and refuse a Fusion Drive with a disk util reset fusion command. Regardless, I highly advise not to attempt any repair actions until the status of the HHD and SSD drives are verified and diagnosed in Internet recovery or macOS recovery, as demonstrated in this presentation. Verifying the Fusion Drive status in disk utility is a simple matter of visually comparing and contrasting the current state of the drive from before the flashing ? Folder appeared. Disk utility is located at the bottom icon in both Internet and macOS utilities. This is an example of my operational Fusion Drive status on my iMac before it split, and notice that it's named Fusion Drive with the HHD and SSD fused in Macintosh HD volumes. contrast, this is an example of my split Fusion Drive status after the flashing ? Folder. And notice that the name changed to Apple HHD instead of Fusion Drive, and only the 3 TB HHD is visible in internal physical. Verifying the HHD and SSD drive status in terminal is simply a matter of verifying the physical status of the drives with the disk util list and disk util list internal physical commands. Terminal is located at the top menu bar under Utilities in both Internet and MacOS utilities. Entering the disk util command will provide a list of other disk util commands that might be helpful in diagnosing and repairing your iMac. The following disk util list and disk util list internal physical reports were executed after we formatted the HHD and disk utility first aid and downloaded Ventura. The disk util list command will provide a list of all drives and partitions that are currently connected to your iMac. At the top of this report, circled in green shows that the 3 TB HHD is the only drive that is internal physical, and at the bottom circled in red is a failing 128 GB SSD, which is shown as a disk image. Not circled in the middle is a Ventura bootable USB drive that is shown as external physical. The disk util list internal physical command will provide a list of all drives that are currently physically located on your iMac. In this report, circled in green shows that the 3 TB HHD is the only drive that is present as internal physical. The failing 128 GB SSD is not present because it is a disk image, and the Ventura bootable USB is not present because it is external physical. Based on the information from these reports, I can make a basic diagnosis that the HHD is operational and the SSD is failing or has failed and is a cause of the split Fusion drive. The reason for this diagnosis is that the HHD is internal physical on both the disk util list and disk util list internal physical reports, while the SSD is listed as a disk image on the disk util list report and is not present on the disk util list internal physical report. If you have a split Fusion drive, my basic recommendations are to take photos of the terminal, disk util list, and disk util list internal physical reports, and also photos of the split drive and disk utility, and then seek professional guidance from Apple support or computer techs. If you're attempting a self-repair, I would recommend to enter the terminal report information with your iMac model information to Google AI, which has been an excellent resource with my iMac self-repair. If you found this information helpful, please show support for future presentations by leaving a like and subscribing to this channel. Thank you.